Und wir freuen uns auf das Gespräch mit dem FIFA Secretary General. Herzlich willkommen, Jérôme Valcke. Die Fragen in Englisch, für Sie jederzeit die Möglichkeit, sich jetzt auch noch einen Translator aufs Ohr zu holen, wenn Sie das gerne haben wollen. Und die Möglichkeit vor allen Dingen auch permanent Fragen zu stellen. Also wir sind mit einem Mikrofon unterwegs. Wenn Sie in das Gespräch eingreifen wollen, tun Sie das bitte wirklich gerne, weil davon lebt das Ganze. Wir haben uns mal 3 Themenkomplexe zurechtgelegt. Ich glaube, die Fußball-WM 2014 ist das erste ganz große Thema, um das es hier natürlich auch schwerpunktmäßig gehen soll. Das ist auch der Titel des Vortrags. Über technische Neuerungen wollen wir sprechen und natürlich auch so ein bisschen Ausblick, was passiert bei der WM in Katar. You love this topic, Katar, right?
Love it. Yep.
Ja, also können Sie sich noch ein bisschen vorbereiten. Little time. This will be the third topic. Brazil 2014. Any problems right now? Any scandals at FIFA? At Planet FIFA?
No, I'm sorry to disappoint you. No, there will be no scandal at FIFA. We are done. We have, I think, worked quite a lot to ensure that we have the right system in place now to control and to sanction whenever someone is acting wrongly.
Ja. Es war gerade die Auslosung, ist noch nicht so lange her, gerade ist vielleicht etwas übertrieben. So, the final draw for the groups was in December. Is that for you the big thing? What is happening behind the scenes?
You mean at the final draw?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The magician? What they said on YouTube?
Yeah, but it's for example, there's no magician. Come on,
the people are sick. No, there is nothing. There is nothing. I mean, I'm sorry, Germany is in a tough group, that's true. But again, I mean, as someone said, to win the World Cup, you have to win all your games.
No, but I think behind the scenes, it's a huge show. The whole world is looking what's happening there. Do that need special rehearsals? What is working? What is going on behind the scenes?
At the final draw, yes, it's a big thing because firstly, it's very important. It's very important for the 32 teams who will play for the first time. They will know where they will play. They will know, except Brazil, which was A1. They will know which team they will play. So you have always group which are a bit easier than others. And again, it's something which was live on more than 150 countries. It's a high cost to organize. So yes, we went through a number of rehearsals. We went through a large work, which was not easy because we were also ready at the last minute.
Are the rehearsals with the draw as well? So do we have rehearsal groups?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Four times.
Okay. And were the groups better for Germany before?
But it's a good group at the end. It's good games for Germany. And Germany is such a strong team that if they have to come out from this group.
You talked about Brazil. It's a special thing to have a world championship in a continent, on a continent. There are many things to think about before the stadiums were fixed, so different time zones and anything like that. Were there crucial points during the last years where you thought this could go wrong?
Not really. I mean, you know, the first thing is it was a decision from Brazil, supported by the FIFA Executive Committee, to make sure that all the teams will travel around the country, so that we will not divide the teams per region to avoid long trips, because it's true that it's a huge continent. When we are flying from Sao Paulo to Manaus, it's a 4-hour flight, so it's quite long. And it's true that you have in Porto Alegre at 6 p.m. Maybe 3 or 4 degrees, when in the same time in Manaus you will have 25 degrees, so a 20-degree difference. Which, by the way, I was in South Africa for the final of the CHAN last Saturday, and we left Johannesburg. It was 17.5 degrees, and in Cape Town, after 90 minutes flight, it was 38 degrees. So Brazil is not the only one country. So again, I mean, all is organized in order to make sure that firstly, the players will not suffer from the heat, and we'll do as we did at the Olympic Games in Beijing, as we have done in various competitions, what we call the water break. So the referee can stop the game to make sure that the players, they can drink water, and we can stop the game to make sure that the players, they can, again, be safe on the pitch. But we have played in different conditions, and we have already played in such conditions, so there's nothing new. Again, the World Cup, I don't know if once you have seen the picture of the Berlin stadium for the final in 2006. And you see a picture of this stadium before the World Cup and the stadium when the final was played. It's a different stadium. The structure around the stadium is huge. And that's what we call a World Cup stadium versus a normal stadium. And that's all the negotiation and all the discussion we have in Brazil. I mean, it's not enough to build a stadium. A World Cup stadium is a stadium where we need a lot of additional infrastructure around, which is what we call temporary infrastructure. And that's where we have this sometime negotiation or discussion by saying, but what's the legacy of the temporary infrastructure? Because after the World Cup, they will disappear. So it's a costly infrastructure without any legacy, any future. But that's the principle of organizing the World Cup, is that to organize the World Cup, you need more than just to organize a league.
What is for you special about Brazil? So it's, of course, it's a big football-loving country. What is special for you?
I mean, if you love football, Brazil is football. That's it. I mean, if you would have to reduce Brazil in one word, it's football. You could say it's samba, it's Copacabana, it's Amazonia, it's a number of different names or words which are symbolic of what Brazil is. But the first thing is Brazil is about football. It's the mecca of football. So if you love football, if you're a football fan, that's the place you want to be. And we never had so many requests. We have more than 10 million requests for the tickets, which is the first time ever in the organization of a World Cup. The hospitality, because we are in the business world, I mean, the hospitality will reach a record, more than any other hospitality program ever organized by FIFA, which is far beyond any other sports or events in the past. So it's just the place where you want to be if you love football. And that's why it doesn't fit when you say there is a problem to organize a World Cup in Brazil. It's the place where there should be no problem.
But are the normal Brazilians have the chance to see football in Brazil? World Cup football in Brazil?
I mean, we have done, as we did in South Africa, a maximum of category 4 tickets. So most of the tickets we have sold up to now, as 90%, more or less 90% of the tickets for the Confederations Cup were sold to Brazilian people, citizens. So there are a lot of tickets which have been bought by Brazilians, a lot of hospitality bought by Brazilian companies. So yes, the Brazilian will have access and will come to the stadiums. And you have seen that at the Confederations Cup when Spain played Tahiti, the stadium was packed by Brazilians, packed, supporting Tahiti in a way which was just amazing. So it's a country where football lovers are there, and even so we had a lot of demonstration, a lot of fights and conflict around the stadium. It was two parallel movements. I mean, on one side you had the demonstrations, on the other side you have all the fans coming to the stadium. And that's what I would say I hope for the Brazil 2014, is that even so there will be demonstration, I think. Still, I mean, the fans from abroad, from Brazil, will be and will come to the stadiums.
Will that be the biggest problem, demonstrations around the stadiums? The World Cup as a podium for other problems?
I mean, as the organizer or person responsible for the World Cup, my work should stop on the opening game. Meaning that if there are any problems still by the day after the opening game, there is something wrong. The only one thing which is not under our control, and I'm talking about the local organizing committee, the Brazilian government and us, it's this social movement. And it was a big surprise last June. Everybody was surprised. The government, the police, the media, us. So we can expect in a country which will face presidential election in October 2014, so a few months after the World Cup, where the official campaign for this presidential election will start around the World Cup, you can expect that you can have some demonstrations. And we are expecting, I think, more than 7,000 journalists. So it's the best platform to express any opinion.
Gibt es von Ihrer Seite Fragen? Fußball-WM 2014, man hat nicht jeden Tag den Generalsekretär bei sich sitzen, in relativ lauschiger Atmosphäre, sage ich jetzt mal. Bitte um Handzeichen, Mikrofon kommt zu Ihnen, Fragen gerne auch auf Deutsch, kein Problem. Hier oben ist eine, sehe ich, und du musst ein bisschen Kilometer jetzt machen. Ja, wir haben uns kurzfristig entschieden, ihn auch nach Kilometern zu bezahlen heute.
Hi, Mr. Valcke. Martin Ross from SportCal. A question regarding the stadium in Curitiba. I know that you've said that a decision will be made by February 18th on that. Can I ask what the contingency is should those 4 group games not be played there?
Firstly, following our visit to Curitiba and the decision made between the sports minister, the governor, the mayor of Curitiba, and ourselves, I have a day-to-day update, and it seems that we are working in the right way. So it seems that, firstly, you know that the pitch is there now. They are working on the infrastructure. And again, I mean, I'm not expecting on the 18th of February Curitiba to be ready. Curitiba will not be ready before the end of April. So the thing is that for the time being, we and I think that if they keep the timing they have now and the way they are working now, that Curitiba will make it. Which is, you know, that Curitiba was the stadium we thought would be already the first one. So it's a bit bizarre how things are moving. But again, clearly we have 3 stadiums where we have problems. It's Curitiba, Sao Paulo, because there was unfortunately and sadly an accident there. And there is also Porto Alegre where we have some problems. So we are talking about stadiums which will be delivered to FIFA by end of April, mid of May at the latest, I hope so, because then we are very, very close to the World Cup mid of May.
Is there a plan B?
There is never a plan B as long as you don't need to have one.
Officially.
I mean, what's happening on my desk is something else, but there is not
yeah,
plan
very
B.
interesting what's happening on your desk.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, you won't tell. Gibt es Fragen zur Fußball-WM 2014? Gerne weitere. Am liebsten von dieser Seite, dann ist der Weg ein bisschen weiter. Entschuldigung. Keine Fragen? Kann doch gar nicht sein. So let's talk about innovations. Goal line technology, it's not really an innovation for FIFA because it was already installed last year at the Confederations Cup. Goal line technology, still a big thing for the World Cup?
No, I heard about technology and adding technology. I think that firstly the goal line technology is the perfect answer to make sure that you know if there is a goal or there is no goal. And I'm not sure that the video would add anything to this decision about goal or no goal. To add, we will have the goal line technology in place at the World Cup. It's a German company, by the way, we are using, and it will be in the 12 stadiums. And it is part of the legacy that if they want to keep CBF, the system, we will leave the system behind us because we have signed a contract where it is part of the contract, the maintenance cost for an additional year. So if they want to keep this system in place to use the system. Goal line will be used in a number of leagues. English Premier League, I heard that, I understood that the Bundesliga will also use potentially the system in 1 year or next season. So again, it is I think, the level of technology where you can bring together the traditional system and the new world. Bring anything more, meaning a video where you could ask to stop the game, whatever it is, a minute, as I heard, or more than a minute, means that sooner than later your commercial partner will ask to use this minute to have a commercial break, and you kill the game. The beauty of our game, I mean, our game has 17 laws. Our game has these 17 laws for more than 100 years, and our game is so easy to understand, except the offside rule, which is maybe a more difficult one for all of us. But with the exception of the offside, it's such easy game to play, and that's why we are such strong sport and the strongest sport in the world. So give to the referee what he needs to make the right decision, but don't change the face of our game.
And this has nothing to do with conservatism?
No. I mean, it's again to protect the game. It's not about conversation. I mean, what is the beauty of our game when you have, let's say, I will not talk about the World Cup, but any game, when you know at the last minute you see that the ball is immediately in and out, that never stop, that the teams want to score. I mean, if you put any way a chance to stop the game, it will change the face of our game, it will change the rule, it will change the spirit of our game. That's what we have to protect.
What Carsten Schmidt said from Sky, that we need clear decisions. That's the only thing what we need. So we have that with goal line technology or any technology concerning goal or no goal. And a video could help, maybe, only in these questions. That's what he said in the discussion just before. Would you agree?
But again, if the video is used to stop the game, I think it's wrong. If the video is used as it is used in different sports, including rugby, it is wrong, because the rugby game and the football game are different games, and the football is so good because the football is this fast game you play without any break. So I there was the video with the fourth referee or the fourth official, and he had a video monitor to watch. The International Football Association board has decided that it should not be anymore the case. There are always discussions. Do we need to give back to the fourth official? Or now with the UEFA rule, I mean, we are at 6 or 7 officials, or 8, we should give them, again, a monitor for them to follow the game and just to be able to communicate with the main referee and to give some information. It will be always a discussion. But the main principle which came out from the IFAB and the FIFA Executive Committee was to say that we have to make sure that the video, again, will not impact our game. And it is to support and not to go against.
The discussion we just had, football in 2025, so you would say nothing will change till then?
The FIFA president.
You think so, really?
In 25, yes. Not in 2015, but in 25, yes.
Okay. I'm not sure.
What else? No, I don't know. We will know where the World Cup 2026 will be played.
But in 2022. But let's talk about one innovation beforehand, because it's the ultra high definition for the television, TV. So what is the special thing about this? What will it bring to football?
Again, the World Cup is this kind of event where a number of companies, and Sony, who is one of our partners, they want to try and to use the platform to test new technologies. And that's why we have the 4K and the 8K, which will be for the first time. We'll have few cameras to broadcast in 4K and 8K, knowing that there are no screen in 4K and 8K for the time being. It is the perfect platform, and we give them this platform and this chance to use the World Cup as a laboratory for new technologies. It was the case in 2010, where we were in HD. In 2006, we were few HD cameras. In 2010, it was full HD. It will be now 4K in 2014 and 8K in 2014. Maybe in 2018, all will be in 4K. So again, I mean, you have to make sure that it's a partnership with our commercial partners, and we have to help them in order to develop their new technology. That's why the World Cup is this platform.
Von Ihrer Seite Fragen? Schauen wir gerne in die Runde. There's an app. FIFA released an app for the World Cup.
Yeah. But then I'm a bit old. I'm not using a lot of apps, but I know that they're doing it, and it's for free. I heard. So
it's for free.
Yeah.
Amazing.
No new FIFA.
Okay.
Free.
2022 Qatar.
So it's amazing, huh? It's quiet. Huh?
Yeah.
So 2022, we can talk quietly also.
Yeah.
Nobody will ask a question about when it should be played.
I'm not sure. What do you think? Winter Olympics?
Firstly, I mean, what we should be said and repeat, the decision was made by the FIFA Executive Committee to award Qatar with the World Cup 2022. Decision is there, and the decision has to be respected, has to be... now, my role as I don't think that I will be that's not a news, but I will definitely not be the Secretary General of FIFA at the World Cup 2022, for sure.
What are your plans?
That I keep it for me, but for sure I can swear on my kids that I will not be the Secretary General in 2022. So I will not be responsible for the organization of the World Cup 2022 for this last phase, but for the time being, I mean, we have to find the best time to play the World Cup. And that's what we are doing in coordination with the different people who are involved in football. We have to find the time to play the World Cup and to make sure that it is played in the best conditions for the players, but also for all of us.
But it won't be played in summer, right?
The summer, it's a hard time to play in this region, clearly. I mean, it's the temperature are above 40 degrees or 50 degrees. And what people, they forget also is that we are not playing one game per day. We are playing 4 games a day, or 3. But we are playing, for the first phase, we are playing at least a number of days with 4 games and a number of games with 3 games. So you cannot play all the games at the same time at 9 p.m. We are playing in Brazil and in the beginning of the day. And you can do that if you are temperature which is normal. If you are at 2 o'clock in a temperature which is just burning, it's impossible. So you have to find the best time to play the World Cup 2022.
Gibt es Fragen zur WM 2022 von Ihrer Seite? Marco Klevenhagen. Sehr schön. Bekommt ein Mikrofon gereicht. Er kennt sich mit sowas aus. Wer wird schneller sein? Sehr schön.
Herr Valcke, ich darf auf Deutsch fragen. Wenn Sie sich ausmalen müssten, den möglichsten, größten Super-GAU, den man sich einfallen lassen kann für Image und PR für die FIFA, wenn Sie dann auf die Idee gekommen, im Sommer eine WM in einer Wüste zu veranstalten?
But, I mean, everybody, all the people who have made the decision to award the World Cup 2022 to Qatar, they knew what Qatar is. They knew what the region of Middle East is. So again, it was clearly said in the technical report, which was on FIFA.com, there is nothing secret, that there will be very high temperature. So you can... Technically speaking, I would say that you could imagine to play the World Cup in summer because they are coming with a level of technology in regards of stadiums, including air conditioning, coming from the pitch and making sure that the feeling the players they would have on the pitch as the people in the stadium is not more than 25 degrees. But the question is it enough? I mean, is the World Cup just 64 games, 22 players, 45 to 60,000 people in the stadium? That's not anymore what the World Cup is. The World Cup is an event which goes beyond football. The World Cup is an event where we'll have hundreds of thousands of people in Brazil to enjoy being in Brazil, in Rio, without being in the stadiums, in Maracanã Stadium. And that's what you have to keep. You have to keep this feeling, this atmosphere, this energy of the World Cup, and not just to protect what's happening in the stadium. So again, I mean, that's why I'm saying that I'm amazed that people are moving on by saying, yeah, I mean, we are talking about moving the World Cup when 2 top players, King, or at least, no, it's not a King, Kaiser, and another one, a famous number 10, who have been, for one, is still a member of the executive committee. The other one was a member of the executive committee right after the decision was made by them, because they were in the room with the 22, part of the 22 who made the decision, said immediately or very quickly after the decision, we cannot play it in summer, we should play in winter. So it was known that we were, so the decision was based on we cannot close our eyes on part of the region which represent 500 million people who are playing football, who are so involved in sport, and that's why we have to open the World Cup to other continents, and that's why we have to bring the World Cup to this region. But it has its consequences, and the first consequences is to think about, is it safe? Is it good to play the World Cup in June, July 2022, or do we have to find another period of time?
Hier oben kommt noch eine Frage.
Bastian Rudde, ich arbeite für den ARD-Hörfunk, würde jetzt auch in Deutsch fragen, wenn Sie sagen, Herr Valcke, dass ein World Cup immer etwas ist, das beyond Fußball an sich geht, beyond Football an sich, muss dann die FIFA nicht von vornherein generell vielleicht etwas weitsichtiger handeln bei der Vergabe in ein Land und auch mit der Situation in dem Land selbst?
But firstly, when I'm saying it's going more than, it's going beyond football, is that the World Cup is not anymore just the organization of 64 matches with 32 teams coming to a country. It's not just building stadiums. There are a number of programs, number of projects we have in the country which are very important to support, to develop youth football, to make sure that we are using the World Cup as a platform for education, for health. And there are a number of corporate social responsibility programs we have in place in Brazil, as we had in South Africa and in all Africa, by the way. There are a number of development programs we have with our development division to support football in the region and in Brazil. I mean, we have started now in Brazil to build and we will build pitches in all the states which have not received the World Cup. So there are 27 states, so in the 15 states which have not received the World Cup, we'll start building pitches in difficult zones for communities to play football. We will do a number of program to develop women's football also because it's part of the inclusion of women in the Brazilian society, which is an important and one requested by the President Dilma Rousseff. So that's what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is whenever you bid for the World Cup today, you have to commit yourself to do a lot more than just building things and organizing 64 games. And it's the same for Russia, and it's the same for Qatar. I mean, they have to deliver to FIFA, they have to deliver to the world something which goes beyond the organization of the World Cup. And that's when there was all this, let's say, problem related to the worker conditions in Qatar. And that's why we again ask for some additional explanation or additional information regarding the new step they have taken in order to solve or to work on this issue. It is part of the responsibility of a country. You cannot just say, I take the World Cup, I organize, and I'm not trying to be an example, because you know that you will be under the spotlight of the world. So you have to make sure that the image you give to the world is at least the best one you can give. You know, it would be naive to think that you can organize the World Cup quietly without any interest of the rest of the world. It's such mega event that everyone is looking at. No one is looking at the way the Universal Exposition is organized in 2020 in Dubai. They are all looking at Qatar 2022. No one is asking about how the things are built in Dubai and if there are any problem in Dubai. Again, just because it's football.
Darf ich vielleicht noch eine Frage anschließen? Das Thema wird ja nächste Woche auch, soweit ich weiß, in Brüssel bei der EU auf dem Tisch liegen. Herr Zwanziger wird da sein. Was erwarten Sie denn von diesem Termin?
Firstly, what we expect is a feedback from Qatar, because they have a deadline to answer to my letter on the 12th of February. And then there will be this meeting. What we're expecting is, and there was some exchange, there was some meeting which took place with Theo Zwanziger and various labor organizations. Also, by the way, meeting between Qatar, the Qatar Local Organizing Committee, and these ILO and local labor organizations. What we are expecting is that we are moving on these conditions, and we can just have new information and new approach on the way to ensure that there is more respect for these workers and the way they are treated in Qatar. It's not easy because there are some limits to what we can do. It is part of the relationship between FIFA and a country, that they have to respect international regulations whenever it's about the use of kids, whenever it's about any way they cannot treat people in different ways than the international rules are. So that's part of the agreement we have between, or contract we have between a country and FIFA. But there are limits to what we can do. We can support, we can use the leverage of the World Cup. We can push by saying, I mean, we wish to do this, we wish to do that. We can support the different organizations, what we are doing. We can work and play the role of intermediary. But more than that, I think that we should not ask FIFA to go beyond what FIFA can do, even on a legal ground.
Jérôme, one last question concerning Qatar. There are many, there were rumors and headlines about dead workers in Qatar, and it's not a FIFA problem, of course, but it's a problem which is related to the World Cup 2022. How do you deal with that?
Again, what we know that, and it came from a report in the media, and we immediately had a discussion at the level of the FIFA Executive Committee. Blatter flew to Qatar and had a meeting with the Emir, with the new Emir, Tamim, and also with the Prime Minister and the different authorities. We have asked them to provide us with a plan how to improve the quality of the working conditions. We have, it is also a question for all these international companies, French companies, German companies, international companies working in Qatar, doing all these big projects which the country has, not only for the World Cup, but as a developing country. And we have sent this letter by asking now some concrete facts or decision they have made before this meeting he was talking about with the EU. So we have appointed, if I may say, Theo Swanziger to be the leader of this task force working about Qatar and the working conditions. And we are following the case because we know that, yes, it's not FIFA, but at the end it's FIFA who is pointed as the one responsible for. It's unfair, but it's a fact, so you have to deal with it.
Liebe SpoBiS-Gemeinde, ich glaube, ein spannender Talk ganz zum Abschluss mit vielen Fragen, die sicherlich auch danach offen bleiben müssen. Aber ich glaube, das ist ganz normal bei Themen, die wir hier bei diesem SpoBiS 2014 auch thematisiert haben. Danke Ihnen erstmal für die Zeit. Thank you very much for having you here. Jérôme Valcke.